Good morning. I know I already introduced the Haitian Revolution. Of course, it was from last year, and you'll hear about Easter, which is weird, right? But the Haitian Revolution, we'll learn about it because it did happen in the Americas. And I'm just going to read the facts in case some of you have trouble with some of the words. Really, you just need to look at the facts so you can complete the sheet for your classwork. All right? Hope you're having a good vacation. I'm just going to read it for you now. Haitian Revolution facts. Dated during the 1791-1804 period, the Haitian Revolution is considered to be one of the most successful anti-slavery rebellions in the Western Hemisphere. Dated during the 1791-1804 period, the Haitian Revolution... Oh, I just read this. All right. It created a significant event in history, as Haiti, then known as Saint Dominique, emerged as the second independent country in the Americas, following U.S. independence in 1783. Key facts and information background. In the 18th century, Haiti lived under the control of France as its wealthiest overseas colony, mainly because of its large production in sugar, coffee, indigo, and cotton. Its people also served as the enslaved labor force for a long time. In 1789, as the French Revolution broke out, the Haitian people were divided into 5 distinct groups. The white planters, who had ownership of the plantations and slaves, and the petits blancs, who were known as artisans, shopkeepers, and teachers, who also owned some slaves, considered one of the first two groups. Consisted of the first two groups. Combined, the two amounted to 40,000 Haitians. As France imposed unreasonable tariffs on the items being imported into the colony that forbade them from trading with other countries, many of these white planters supported movements toward gaining independence. The white population of Saint Dominique then did not have any representation in France, just like America, right? No representation. However, both the white planters and petits blancs still adhered to the institution of slavery, even when they called for independence. Frustrating. Just like we did, or the South in the colonies. The rest of the 3 groups were of African descent, including those who were free, those who were slaves, and those who would run away. There were 30,000 free black people in 1789. On the other end, there were around 500,000 slaves, 500,000. The runaway slaves, also known as Maroons, lived in the mountains of Saint Dominique and survived through subsistence farming. Subsistence farming means you eat what you grow. Colonial officials and white planters tried all means to control the slave population. But the slaves were never willing to undergo any subjugation, and so they retaliated through numerous slave rebellions at the time. Sorry, some noise. Inspired by the French Revolution's Declaration of the Rights of Man, the Haitian Revolution took place alongside various slave rebellions going on simultaneously. Haitian uprisings. In order for Haiti to remain as its colony, the General Assembly in Paris tried to elude Haitian people by enacting legislation that granted some local level autonomy, but was rather ambiguous and radical. The legislation caused a civil war between the 3 sides, involving the white planters, petits blancs, and the free black people. But such groups were challenged by the slave populations who were part of the majority. On 21st August 1791, the enslaved blacks, led by former slave Toussaint Louverture, you do not have to pronounce that, but that's a big name you'll have to know, for this paper, revolted against white planters. They succeeded to have control of a third of the island by 1792. Despite the relentless attempts of the French and British forces to try and conquer the colony, the adamant and strong slave population managed to defeat the two powerhouses. In 1781, Louverture expanded the revolution throughout the Dominican Republic, then known as Santo Domingo, a neighboring Spanish colony, where he successfully abolished slavery and declared himself as the Governor-General across Hispaniola Islands. As Napoleon Bonaparte served as the new leader of France, he sent 40,000 strong army troop led by General Charles Leclerc to capture Louverture and once again establish French rule and slavery. As Louverture was captured and died in prison in 1803, a former general of Louverture and a former slave named Jean-Jacques Dessalines, he is also on the paper, so that's a name you need to kind of look at, spearheaded revolutionaries in Battle of Verrieres on 18th November 1803, where they ended victorious against French forces. On January 1st, 1804, Dessalines proclaimed the independence of the nation and renamed it Haiti, the land of the high mountains, in the indigenous Taino language. Legacy. The Haitian Revolution brought new concepts of human rights, universal citizenship, and participation in government. The slave rebellion likewise inspired revolutions in Jamaica, Grenada, Colombia, and Venezuela. Okay. Then there's some worksheets down here. Right, but what I did, I made a Google Doc for you, so you can just fill in with the word bank on the bottom of the page. All right, I just wanted to read this out to you in case some of it was too hard to read. All right, sorry I had to slam the door. There was some noise. I wanted to get rid of it for you so you could hear everything. All right? So I hope you're enjoying your vacation. Well, right now you're hearing this. You're like, that was last week, Mr. Gailey. Well, I'm recording it now. So have a good day in school. Bye.